Hey everyone, in this video we are going to install a new head unit. So it's a double DIN head unit and it's just going to replace the radio, and we had a PA system in the bus, as well as install a reversing camera. So enjoy.
Okay, so I'm just going to look at installing our head unit. We've got a Sony, what is it, XAV AX100. So this is what our Toyota Coaster already had in it. It's got like a tape deck and I believe this was a PA system. So I'm hoping I can just take these brackets off and they'll fit into the one that we already have. So I've already taken this off because I kind of wanted to make sure that I could get it off before I filmed. So I'll record putting it all back together and then you can just sort of reverse engineer. It's pretty straightforward. So the screws that it came with don't work, so I think we've got some screws that it came with somewhere. We've pulled this out of a car before, so we don't have all the accessories with us, so we'll get them and I'll come back to this. Okay, so I've just connected up my aftermarket plug. So I just cut all the wires out of the old one and then just soldered them and joined them together. So I'll just take you through what each of the old colours are, and then you'll just have to match them up to what yours is. So the blue with a yellow stripe is your continuous power for your memory. Light green is your front right speaker positive. Blue is your front right speaker negative. Pink is your front left speaker positive. Purple is your front left speaker negative. Then you've got brown is your earth. Grey is your ignition power. And then what we got left? Green. What was green? Oh, it was switched illumination power. So I believe that's when your lights are on, it controls the lights on this. But I believe that's all of the cable wires. So yeah, I managed to find a pretty good diagram for it online, which I'll post in the description below. But yeah, otherwise they use very unique colours for everything, so it was a little bit confusing at first. Alright, so I'm just going to install a Parkmate CDD24KN rear view camera. So it comes with the little camera itself, cable to go from the camera wire to your head unit, the wire that plugs in to the camera, and then this goes to your head unit, red to your reversing light wire, and then black to ground. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of actually installing the camera, but this is it here. So on the top of our license plate holder. So it's just two screws. I've just screwed up in there, and then I've just drilled a hole in behind here, which I've fed the wire through. It just comes up through the back. We've just got this plywood base on the back. I've just done another hole through that it just goes through, comes over here, plugs into this, and then goes over sort of into our battery, over near our electrical system, which I can't really get to at the moment. But yeah. Okay, so we've been halfway around Australia and I'm finally just getting around to fixing the stereo and the reversing camera. So the reversing camera we've wired to a switch at the dash so that we can have it not just when we're in reverse but whenever we want. So we've got two wires here. One goes to the camera and one goes to our house batteries. And then just a switch, this little thing came in here, so I just popped it out, drilled a hole to put our switch in. So that's like that. Then our stereo comes with a wire that wants to be connected to the reverse. Normally that means you can pop it in reverse and it automatically turns the camera on. But what I've done is I've just used an easy tap connector to the wire for the camera. So as soon as we turn the switch on, camera gets power, this gets power, and then it automatically switches over to the camera. And and then there's just the camera plug in there. So here's a terrible diagram that I just mocked up to sort of go through the wiring of the reversing camera. So you've got the reversing camera that has one wire coming out of it that comes into sort of a connector. Then you've got the black wire which goes straight to the head unit, that's like the video feed. You've then got a negative wire that goes straight to the negative of our fuse block, and a positive wire that runs through to the switch, which then a positive wire comes back to the positive of the same fuse block. That yellow wire is just like a power wire that connects the head unit to the power, so that when we flick the switch, the head unit automatically switches over to the reversing camera. So the two positive wires and the video feed wire all run under our bus. So normally you can route your wiring up under here and then through this, which is just these two screws. It pops off there, and then under this little cover that protects your handbrake, and then, you know, back there wherever. I can't get the screws out for the handbrake, so I had to route the wires for the reversing camera via the passenger seat. It's not pretty, but yeah. So normally if you can get these screws out, I don't know if it might have threaded or if they're a head that I don't recognize. Not important. I'm happy with them going via the passenger seat. You can just see them. So this is the speaker wires on the passenger side. I just put in some electrical conduit, and so I just ran it down next to the engine bay, and that goes under our lounge and through the floor, and then I run all the wires under the bus to the other side. We also installed some new speakers because the front of a Toyota Coaster doesn't actually have any speakers. Kind of just uses the rear speakers, which if you took your ducting out, you would have taken your speakers and lighting out as well. So we just used the same old wire, still kind of coming out of this tube, which you would have seen if you took it all apart. So pink is your front left positive and purple is your front left negative. And then light green is your front right positive, and blue is your front right negative. Same as when you plug it into your head unit, they just match up on the speaker end as well. I just attached them to some other electrical wire because obviously they're quite short, and then ran it down. Our speakers sit behind the seats. You can't really see it because there's kind of stuff there, but yeah, one behind the passenger and one behind the driver's seat. And the last thing is just a microphone. So it's got Bluetooth and Android Auto, so it has a microphone. So we just run the microphone down the sort of window lining and then down through this little cap here, and then I ran it sort of through the dash, like through here, and then it can come out here and connect to our head unit.
Okay, that's it for this video. So with the reversing camera, normally in like a car, you would just tap the reversing camera onto your reversing lights. That way when it goes into reverse, it enables the camera. But in the Toyota Coaster, they're 24 volts. So unless you get a 24 volt camera or a 12 volt converter, it won't work. So there's already a 12 volt converter, I don't know where, somewhere in the dash that does the radio, so that's why you can just go straight power into your head unit and all's okay. But yeah, with the reversing camera, that's why we powered ours off our house, because we've got that 12 volt power, and also so that we could have the switch so we could have it on whenever we wanted. Didn't get any footage of removing the cover. I said I'd go back to it, but I never got around to it. It's really easy. It's just like 3 screws in the top, the 2 screws in the middle. It just pops off. It's like clipped, and then you'll see the screws that are holding the like the CD player mount and stuff, or tape, whatever was in it, mount. Really easy. So yeah, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe and share, and until next time, see ya.